Hi everyone, this is Kat, and it's a given name which you probably know by now, but I like to say it. It could be my intro. Anyway, so as you can see by the title, we are doing something different today. So basically, we are going to see that if cheap art supplies make bad art or not. Okay? So yeah, it's actually because I honestly ran out of most of my supplies, and as you know, we are quarantined right now. My sketchbook, I finished my sketchbook recently. I finished my watercolor pages. Like I have so much time in my hands that I'm drawing all the time. But I didn't keep that in mind that I would definitely run out of supplies. So it's okay. That's not a big deal because I have things laying around. So I decided to use plain page of a spiral notebook. These are more like printer paper actually, I think. I don't know, like I don't even know the characteristics. These are definitely not watercolor papers. And the pens that I'm using, like I thought of buying microns, but they were expensive for me. And I am a budget queen, trust me. So I decided to buy these technical pens from Brustro, and trust me, they are really good for beginners. Yeah, so this is what I'm using. I drew the sketch out using a simple HB pencil because, as we said, we're gonna use all the cheap art supplies today, and Brustro is also really cheap. So that's what I'm using. So I didn't know I couldn't decide what I was gonna draw, but since I have a lot of free time, I'm also rewatching some of my favorite movies, and you know, uh, my favorite movies are mostly Ghibli movies or Ghibli movies, whatever you wanna call it. I don't know which one's correct. I prefer Studio Ghibli because that's what I've heard most people say. If I'm wrong, then I'll admit my mistake in the next video probably. So yeah, I thought I wanted to do something a little bit Ghibli-esque. As you can see, if you're familiar with Studio Ghibli, you know that they are known for their beautiful nature sceneries, the skyscapes, and how they use bright colors such as like bright greens and yellows and reds and blues in their you know animation. um, so I thought of doing something like that, even though the drawing is not that much like oh yeah, so I decided to cut it because I didn't know how the watercolor was going to do on this paper, so I thought I will cut this whole structure and stick it on another paper. Okay, so as I was saying that I decided to take inspiration from different architectural structures and draw this sky island. So that's what I'm doing. To color this picture, I am using my Camlin Cocoyo brush pen set. It cost only 300 bucks. It's really cheap. It's student grade. I don't know why these are called watercolor pens because they are not that water soluble. Like it was a disaster the first time I tried them, but they work good as sketch pens. Yeah, with a brush tip. So it's amazing if you are into calligraphy. That's what I use it mostly for. I'm not that good at it, but I'm learning. I use it in my journal sometimes to write the quotes and all. You would have noticed if you're a keen observer. And as you can see that these work really well as sketch pens, but there is one problem with that it is very similar to watercolor in one aspect, and it is that it bleeds. If you don't know what is bleeding in watercolor, then when you mix, like when you want to color two different things in two different shades, but you do it before drying, before one shade has dried, the two colors start mixing on your paper. This is called bleeding. Okay, so these pens have this defect that they bleed. Sometimes it's really good, it creates a very pretty effect, like right now, like the greenery of the sky island I'm drawing. Here I wanted the blurry effect, but you will see later on how much problem it creates for me when I draw the little tiny structures of the building. But otherwise these pens are amazing. I mean, what more could you expect at such a low price? Yeah, get used to it. Art stationaries are really expensive. So, yeah, I hope this is turning out pretty. I don't know yet. This looks good to me. So, enjoy the rest of the video and you will catch me talking in a while again. I'm almost done now. See, this is the bleeding I was talking about. The doors and the windows, they are kind of a little bit smudged, but it's alright. So, moving on to the next part, I decided to take a drawing paper from, the drawing notebooks we used in school. Yeah, these are extremely cheap and classmate makes them. And these paper these papers are really bad actually. I've realized this after I've worked with good paper. I don't even know how good these can hold watercolor, but I'm gonna try. I also decided to use student grade watercolors from Camlin and not the artist grades. And these were really difficult to work with. I mean, it's kind of ironic that students have to work with materials that are harder to handle. So it's kind of sad actually. But then again, I think it's about passion. Like, the more passionate you get about something, the more you start spending on it. you know you know what really makes me mad is when somebody who is not that much passionate about art buys expensive supplies and wastes them, like doesn't use them and just keeps them on the shelf. It's really heartbreaking. So me, look at me, I am so obsessed with art. Like, I love it. I know I'm not that good at it, but I really enjoy it. And still I am very conscious about how much I'm spending on it. I'm such a cheapskate. Like, I make sure I'm buying drugstore supplies and not high-end ones, and not spending too much, because sometimes my insecurity would start telling me that you're not worth expensive art supplies. And I would always buy the student grades. But recently I've started shifting to a little bit of like expensive ones, and I'm seeing like so much change in my artworks. Like, they do help, but first you must at least get used to the student grade ones. First you must earn it. So as you can see, this paint is kind of splotchy. I really hate this, to be honest, but we're gonna have to make do, because that's what this video is about, using cheap art supplies. So this turned out really, what should I say, bland. It doesn't look that bright. Like, I can't find the Ghibli brightness at all in this. Like the sketch pen one was good, but this looks really bland. So I decided to use another wash of paint on top of it. The next day, I let it dry the whole night, and then I took my student grade paints that I hate so much. I want to throw them away, but I respect them, so I'm not gonna throw them away. I'm gonna use them for something else. And I have a lot of use for paints. Anyway, so I put a wash of this slightly reddish paint and this bluish one to brighten up the the background a bit because it looks kind of dead to me. And I think it kind of worked, and I intentionally uh, kept this texture, this horizontal texture, to make it look a little bit more like cartoony, like two-dimensional, and I like it. It turned out pretty good, except the paint is kind of muddy, which never happens with my artist grade paint. Like Camlin's artist grade paint and student grade paint, watercolor paint that is, doesn't have that much difference in price, but the quality is so much different. Anyway, finally, I decided to stick the picture on top of the background, and this is the result. You see, I think it turned out pretty good. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, comment down below what you want me to change, do, or include, or anything like that. Any suggestion is welcome. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Press the bell icon if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video. I upload a journal video on Sundays, and on Thursdays, usually I do something really random like this one. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.